HairCor. In the more.
We should have Jeff here every session and have him play the breaks and in betweens.
That's a good idea.
Just hand him the bass. Here, go nuts for next 10 minutes.
Surprise. Surprise you. I'm going to surprise you by playing this next tune.
For some reason, I believe that Black Country Communion, when abbreviated, is BBC. But it's not. It's BCC.
Yes.
So I'd apologize to those guys, but they broke up in 2012, so I'm assuming they're all dead.
Did they? So what? I didn't get to hear it there
Maybe they
because
broke up because of the name.
But have you heard of them before?
No.
No. I'll have to listen to them later.
All right, good stuff. They're really, really good. Can I do like
send me more. You should send me more then.
Well, that would be against the law. Can I do a little apology? Not to the BBC because fuck them. I'd like to kind of say sorry to the live people who are struggling right now trying to watch this thing because I don't know why, man. It's just like Ustream has just been acting wonky in the last 3 weeks.
Time to check out the competitors.
Yeah, and like right now, even on YouTube, it's like, okay, well, that means that you're going to have 11 spectacular minutes of us on YouTube where you're not going to get to see the gun. I'm so sorry.
So we're not going to get to see the gun. That's gone.
The gun's gone. You can always bring the gun back in.
Oh, and because I got the ammunition here for it too.
If you want to load the gun right here on the air, I'm down with that.
What if we what?
If you want to load the gun.
Here we go.
Load the gun.
Yeah, here comes the gun.
In my basement.
we're bringing her back out. And this is the SKS 45, right? Russian made.
Russian made.
This is a fine machine, I'm sure. What are we talking about weight wise? How's it feel in your hands?
It's about, I'd say 18 pounds.
18 pounds.
No, maybe 16.
It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's no way that's 3 or 4 pounds.
It's
Well,
not-
maybe.
It's not no 10 plus pounds.
It's your average weight of a rifle.
Okay.
I can't say it's any heavier or not.
What kind of range are we talking about with that thing?
2 mile.
2 miles.
Good shooting range, 2 mile, but deadly range, 2 kilometers.
If you're talking accuracy, probably about 300 feet is.
300 to 400 feet. That's about 2 mile.
Right. So I'm on the 10th floor of my condo. I should have no problem picking people off, right?
Yep.
All right.
You could if you got you could scope this thing and it would be reasonably accurate.
Well,
Not as much as like something with higher tolerances, like an American rifle or whatever.
the sights are set up from 0 to 1,000 feet.
I've always wanted to own a gun. I've never owned a gun.
You shot them before. We
Yep.
played around back into high school and whatnot a bit.
Yep. I've shot my share of guns, but never owned one.
Yeah, watching you shoot a 12 gauge shotgun was the funniest thing I ever seen in my life.
I really hurt my shoulder a lot. I'm pretty weak.
Well, you kind of look like what was that penguin's name? The cartoon penguin from the 70s and the 80s.
Chili Willy?
Chili Willy, yeah. That's how Corey looked when he shot a 12 gauge. He went skip, skip, skip back on one foot.
They come up on you, man. You don't expect it, and then it's like, holy crap, that really hurts. Now, I had, like, when I shot yours, I had prepared myself because I heard that there's a lot of kick. I never
And I told you, too.
And you told me. And so I'm like, okay, well, you put it really up tight to your shoulder, and it's not going to come back and smash you. But I still felt sore for like 3 days after.
Yeah, well, if you were like me and went through 50 rounds one night, I hurt both shoulders. I had to switch halfway through that night.
I can imagine that would be the case because these things.
But that thing doesn't have near the kick as a 12 gauge, which is nice. It's a nice smooth shooter.
Wow. I think I'm going to have to come up and I have to shoot that thing, feel it for myself.
You should.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You should.
I got a case of 700 rounds for like $150. The surplus rounds. So I got lots of bullets.
I'll make sure John's here too, and then we can shoot a few of these off, and then you can really feel something crazy.
Oh, just looking at that, I got a shoulder ache.
Yeah, I'll make sure John's here, and we'll shoot a bunch of these off too.
You know what I feel like?
My brother-in-law's got a.
I've never.
My brother-in-law has a Tikka Tika 270.
What's a Tika
It's a
270?
hunting rifle.
Okay.
Tika T3 270 Winchester shoots a .270 caliber round. It's a lot bigger than the shell that it's got about 3 times the powder behind the shell as the one that we're shooting here tonight.
And the slug is much smaller.
Not much. It's about a fifth smaller if you look at it. That's about a fifth smaller. Same length. But it's 2.270 instead of 0.300, right?
Yeah, or 303 or whatever.
Do you guys ever feel like you're getting to do all the things as adults that you've always wanted to do when you were a kid?
You have to do this stuff, man. It's your right. It's maybe not your right, but it's kind of like it's your right of manhood, passing into manhood.
Well, it's a right and it's a responsibility.
Absolutely.
Being able to use the tools that we are legally permitted to use. We don't there's other countries that don't have that kind of permission. Like they don't give their citizens the ability to arm themselves. And I'm not saying that I'm arming myself. I just like to have a gun that is loud and can put holes in things.
Sure.
Because I like target shooting. Target shooting is fun.
There's a manly thing about holding that rifle, and when you're holding on to it, there's an invincibility almost to it too. And it might be childish. I think that's where Corey's alluding to.
No, I don't think it's childish. I think what I'm saying is that, when I was young, from probably age 7 to about 12 or 13, there were a lot of things that I really, really wanted to have. Like, for example, I wanted a ninja sword, and I wanted like a 45, and there were all of those kind of iconic weapons that I had to have. I dreamt of them. I thought of them. I imagined them in my hand. And now that you get to an age where you can actually have them and you can use them, I feel that I'm wasting my adulthood by not taking advantage of that and buying like a samurai sword and buying like a 45 and buying a nice big rifle.
You have a katana, don't you?
I do have a katana, but it's it's like one of those.
But he's an adult. That's what he's saying. He's an adult now instead of his 13-year-old self that was like, I want a katana.
Yeah.
But I was like, he's 35 or whatever, and he's like, I have a katana. It is a serious thing that I keep on my wall to look at because it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like, I got a katana. I gotta go cut a watermelon in half.
Did you try that with your katana, Corey?
No, what I did do, and this didn't work out so well because the landlord got really mad, is I ran around the yard and I trimmed all the trees with the sword. So when he came home and he saw like all these branches, because I wanted to see like how thick a branch can I get through, and it's I could get through a pretty damn thick branch with relative ease. Like I could. You get an idea of how you could very easily cut somebody's arm off. It wasn't ever sharp enough or strong enough steel because it's more of a display sword. Like you couldn't.
The problem with yours is the hilt isn't right.
Right.
The replicas, they're not the ones the ancient samurai made to decapitate foes, but still, it's a sharp piece of long metal that you're swinging fast and in a lethal direction. So
dangerous as hell.
It's going to hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. No two ways about it.
Same as this thing. And it's awesome now that we're adults that we get to, like, I intend to get my restricted license so I can buy a nice revolver, because I fired my friend's revolver. It's a .357 Magnum with a 6-inch barrel. Ooh. Now, the ones you see on TV, most of them are just those little those detective things. You put a 6-inch barrel on a .357 revolver, you hold down in your hand, you're like, God damn! Oh, man, it's this thing that your body fills with adrenaline and muscle and beer and beards and,
and chicks with like little camouflage shorts
all of a sudden you've hit re-puberty and your testicles have dropped and gotten bigger.
Right.
Because you're holding this.
That's what it is. That's why my nuts hit between my knees now. It's because of all the guns we've got to shoot.
Is this a show? This is what people tune in for. I feel like so. I would like a revolver. That's definitely something I would enjoy. I don't need like a big dirty hairy 44 or anything to that effect, but I think I would like a .357. But it's the Colt 45? Is that the Magnum that I'm thinking of?
That's the Colt. The 45 is the clip loading in
1911.
1911 is the original Colt 1911.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of what Magnum PI.
They just call them 45s now, kind of, right?
But all the modern kind of
Semi-auto.
semi-auto handguns are based on like the 1911 or the high power Browning, which is a 9mm that came a few years later.
Because we're really going back to the 80s here. What was the gun that Magnum PI used?
I believe that was a 1911.
Yeah,
I think it was too.
That's what I'm into. I hear
Yeah, he used the
Actually,
semi-auto.
there's a website. If you're interested in that kind of thing, you want to know exactly what kind of gun a person in a show or a movie used.
Yes, I do.
There's a website, imfdb.com.
IMFDB.
It's internet. IMFDB.
Oh, cool. Is it off the IMDb database?
No, it's a different thing, but it's Internet Movie Firearms Database.
I like this.
Awesome.
I'm gonna check that out for sure. That sounds amazing.
So if you type, yeah, if you type in like Magnum PI, it'll tell you exactly what gun he used. It'll show you a picture of it usually.
See, I'm more of the British side. I love the PPK, and that's Sean Connery's James Bond's weapon of
That's
choice.
a Walther, and that's a German gun.
It's a what?
That's a German gun. The
Yes.
British one is the Webley.
Okay,
All
That's
right.
a revolver. And I think they use probably.
But-
and all kinds of
but
things.
Sean Connery used the PPK.
What do we? And again, this is my ignorance here. What am I talking about? What's my layout here? Capitally, is it going to be like $1,500? I got myself a nice firearm.
Or what are you talking about? The revolver?
No, I want to get myself like this. I want to get this Magnum PI gun. What am I going to pay for that?
One in 1911.
A 1911? Yeah.
First you decide what kind of brand you want. There's variations in price, like considerable variations. If you want a really pimped up Kimber, which is like the top end that's what the top,
high end.
That's what the rich guys will go to the range and they'll put
Nickel plated and
nickel-plated.
ivory grips.
It's all on tactical attachments and all that. That'll be like $1,800 or
Yeah,
or
about
more.
$2,000. I figured.
Three,
Yeah,
$3,000 to $5,000 or whatever for like the really top end kind of.
Yeah, but $2,000 will get you a decent weapon.
$2,000 will get you a good one, but I mean, you can spend $300 and get a Norinco, like a Chinese one that's made out of railroad steel. It is. And
Oh, no, I'm not arguing. I'm not laughing at that.
They can-
It's just what the Chinese do with their old railway tracks.
Like,
Blows me away.
they use railroad steel and they mill it, and you can't take it to a gunsmith and say, I would like to get some kind of a, because they can't drill it because it's too hard of steel. The things are indestructible, but I mean, they're sloppy made, they're Chinese, and some of them are good, some of them are bad. Yeah, type up in there, Magnum PI.
Okay, so I'm looking at $2,000.
That's what I figured.
Again, it depends on what you want to do with it. You can get it. You can there's a good. The entry level Remington will be like $600. And then
It's like anything though, Corey. You hit somewhere in the middle range, so you get some decent quality.
If you're
whatnot.
living in Canada, then you have to also get a membership to a gun range or whatever, because you can't fire them.
Well, and you also have to have your restricted license
You
too
also
in
got to get a
Canada.
restricted license.
you know,
you got to buy the accessories like a case and a lock and all that kind of stuff.
I don't want to be that guy, but you know, I live in Central America. I don't have to do any of that.
No, you don't have to do anything, do you?
I'm just asking, like, if I want to go downtown and I want to pick up a Magnum PI gun, what am I going to bring in cash? So if I go downtown with $2,000,
I'd say $2,000 American. $2,000
all right,
American.
I'm going to pick myself up a nice gun.
You get it something decent.
Sounds good. Good morning, Harry.
Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Gunky.
Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, Gunky.
Good morning, Harry.
HairCor.